Happened in the 90s.
Could your child be lured into prostitution? Sandy's was.
I got a phone call from my daughter saying, help me.
So she posed as a hooker to find her daughter, and the rescue made headlines. Next, Sally.
Steve, I stumbled on something 90s related that you'll probably never watch, but it was sad, funny, hilarious, insane. As I've said to you and to anybody who will listen to me, I love Food Network shows. I love cooking competition shows. And on Discovery Plus, on Food Network, in popped a new show. It's called Worst Cooks in America, Steve. And it's a common show. It's been around, but this show, Steve, features 90s celebrities. So Matthew Lawrence, a chick from The Nanny that was like the blonde chick from The Nanny that was like one of the daughters, I believe.
Okay.
The chick from Growing Pains who looks
the daughter?
Yeah. And credit to the woman. I know you're a sweet woman, but time has passed, Steve. And what I'm getting now is crazy cat lady vibes.
It's
Also,
not like she was the hottest person in
no,
her era
no.
anyways. Yeah.
But she's a beautiful person, Steve. But here, what I'm seeing is more of a gypsy, like, you know, maybe a carny woman of some kind, and also, you know, just a sprinkling of other celebrities. I forget all of them. The other one that I remember that's notable is the fat kid from Parenthood, the young child. He's not fat anymore. Is it
I remember
Parenthood?
watching it with Steve Martin.
No, Parenthood, the show.
With Robert Townsend.
Yeah,
That
with the
dude?
fat kid. Yeah, he's grown up. He ain't fat. I mean, he's not that anymore, but
He slimmed down. His teeth. He got his teeth worked
he
on.
looks, I mean, credit to him, looking great. But seeing these celebrities have outside of their element of like in a show, it's a nightmare,
Yeah.
Steve. Especially the chick from The Nanny. I want her banished from the show. I want her jailed and locked up. She's a nightmare, Steve. Picture the most nightmarish white woman scenario that you can picture, you know, that like somebody in Perrysburg, possibly. Just, she's a nightmare. That's all I can say. She's a nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, they're not eating, bro. Like what?
It's wild.
These are the most obscure celebrities that you mentioned, man. Like, you know, they're from these ragtag shows that you only remember them from them shows, and some of them aren't streaming. So it's like, if you didn't live through those times, good luck. Who the fuck are these people? Imagine being a new millennial watching that show. You're like, oh, that's great. I got to Wikipedia who the fuck that is still.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of that. But like, even seeing like a Matthew Lawrence, or you're like, oh, this guy's like a confident dude, like, you know, one of these like heartthrob dudes that grew up in the 90s. He's just some like scared dude that's always like, am I doing this okay? I was like, man, I have as much confidence as Matthew Lawrence. It's just wild to watch. And as if you like 90s shit, watch it because it's hilarious.
Matthew, he's the middle child, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Dude,
and he looks great. They showed him like with his wife and stuff, got a great life. But this guy, like when he's trying to do something like cook, very manic. It's just funny to watch because I mean the show is that all these people suck at cooking and they're supposed to learn how to cook throughout the show. And I don't know, Steve. I think one of the chicks almost. Oh, and there's also like a lot of MTV celebs in it. Like one of the guys from the first Road Rules is in it. And it's just like, this is fucking.
Downtown Julie Brown.
Yeah, wabba wabba. Let me cook these eggs.
Well, like the fact that some of them are children actors too. Like there's also that mystique about them. They're used to growing up being like, oh, mommy, no, don't. I'll get it right next time. No, daddy, no.
And it's, you know, it's that we're there now. We're like those people, they got to make some more money or else they're not going to be able to, you know, the checks ain't coming in, Steve.
Were any of these people at the convention you went to?
Yeah, Matthew Lawrence was. I know that. I'm trying to think. Oh, you know who else is in it? Lori Beth Denberg's up in that bitch. And I was like, you don't know how to
You can't
cook? Yeah.
cook.
She tries to cook like she cooks like what I would expect her to eat, but it's like, damn, you can't even cook like macaroni and cheese, chick. All that. You know?
Like, what is your however? Like, one of the reasons dudes get with
What
big
is
chicks
your
is because they think that they know how to cook. Like, or at least the bitch gonna feed me. Like, damn, bitch.
I mean, she was bringing in that money. They were going out, Steve. Lori Beth, although like she's it's just wild to see people like that now, you know. I'm glad where we're at, Steve. You know, I feel good about
Yeah.
myself after watching. Maybe that's why I watched the show. So for all you low self-esteem people, watch 90s Worst Cooks in America, and you're probably gonna feel pretty good about yourself.
Yeah, being a celebrity ain't all that, man. No pun intended.
God, such a good theme song. And I gotta say, before we're gonna talk about it. The Wonder Years theme song that we had to listen to on these like episodes that we watched. Please, guys, if you lock into a good theme song, just keep it. You don't gotta upgrade it if it's perfection. Like the Martin theme song, where like they had to like change it after a while. It's like, come on.
The early CGI Martin, I didn't like.
Yeah, with the big heads and shit. I'm the man. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
What's up? What's up? What's up? I'm the man.
But that was those are good seasons. I mean, but the intro, I'm just saying, if you have a theme song, don't change it, guys. And Wonder Years.
What did they change it to? It was just condensed, right?
I feel like it was just like the riff. The words were the same, but like just like the guitar, there was something different, I think. You know,
they did that screech.
Yeah. Yeah, they went like hair metal with it at the end, you know. They had to like latch onto that.
Joe Crocker's got a cigarette. Yeah, we gonna kick her out
now. Hold on, let me just crack this one up a notch real quick. But
just gonna do a remix.
I was really into both of the shows that we watched this week. I was very happy with the selections. Usually I'll bitch about it, but no, we picked right, Steve. Good job.
Man, you know, I knew for a while, about 2 weeks prior, one of the things we needed to talk about for May 12th. And man, it's a slept on gem. I think because of who the man is. I'm an SNL fanatic, and I always tell people, man, even in the shitty ones, man, there's little pieces of candy in this one. It's flooded with pieces of candy. It's Easter eggs. Humble brag, sir. But I decided to tap into my charitable side, and I'm doing a fundraiser, Matt.
Okay.
It's something that's near and dear to me, and I think most people overlook it. I'm doing a fundraiser for the Foundation of Seahorses who identify themselves as Frank Thomas.
Okay.
Yeah, man, it's a lonely world in that world down under, and you know, the seahorses, they feel left out. They feel like they don't belong, even within that world of fish, sharks, orcas, and what have you. And it's just like Rudolph. They don't get to play any of their seahorse game. They're just kind of off in the cuff, man. It's like they're undocumented. And it's like
flying under the radar for sure. Of sea creatures, for sure.
Yeah, like the flounder and shit and the turtles, they don't give a fuck about the seahorse.
Sharks, I mean, they ain't got that tail. They can't be male or female like a seahorse can. I mean, what are you fucking thinking here, guys?
You think human beings are intolerant? Seahorses don't give a fuck. They are so intolerant. Dude, they like, man, you are not going to come into my fucking sea home with that Chicago White Sox hat on. And so even within the seahorses, yeah, they feel neglected as a seahorse people. But even within the seahorse people, Like there's just a lot of divide.
Division. Okay.
It's a lot of division, man.
Okay.
And within that community, there are some who identify themselves as American League All-Star sluggers, and I'm here for them.
I mean, specifically the
Seahorses.
Big Hurt, though. You're saying for this,
Yes, man.
not Ken Griffey,
Some-
not Fred McGriff, the crime dog. Even we're talking straight up Frank T. Moss himself.
Not Bobby Bowe, not Barry Bonds. No, man.
Fuck all that.
Yeah, specifically, there are some in that community who just feel like a home run hitting motherfucker from Alabama.
I gotta say, Steve, that as somebody, I feel like I'm on the just cusp of wokeness, like being completely woke, like clear almost. And to think to myself that in all the wokeness that I put out in the world, that I never even thought to focus that on the seahorse world. I'm gonna slap my goddamn self for that shit, Steve.
It's a hard knock life. It's a hard knock life, man. And
I just give you a round of applause and just a tip of the hat, Steve, because
thank you, man.
I feel like you're really bringing up to light something that maybe a fraction of the community really wants to hear about this, but it needs to be heard, and I applaud you for it. So thank you on behalf of the seahorses.
It's the least I can do, and for 7 cents a day, you can keep them afloat. They look so down, man.
Arms of an angel.
Keep your head up, buddy. It just looks so sad. They always have their heads down, man. Keep your head up. Word to Tupac. We're here for you. Somebody cares.
You're the Big Hurt.
Don't think you're not loved.
You're going to. I'm moved, Steve. I'm not tearing up at the moment, but it'll happen later after I process this.
And once again, people, foundation of seahorses who identify themselves as Frank Thomas.
Do we have Frank Thomas's support though? Because what are his thoughts on this?
Well, after he's doing his tour for the Dick Pills, he said that he was going to actually do a Kickstarter. He loved the idea. He did because I'm schooling the masses, and he didn't know. He wasn't privy to this, and he feels honored, of course, as he should. Like this is they're in another plateau.
He's all teed up though. It's not like he's been fucking eating fucking testosterone pills, dicking down fucking 40-year-old white women at gyms that he meets. And that's not man. You got to do that. That's what he's doing. He can only spread himself so thin, Steve. So I'm sure he's on it. Maybe he'll release a sex tape of one of those sessions to raise a little money and awareness for the seahorses. Maybe he'll I'm not going to say what I was just going to say, but shout out to Frank Thomas, shout out to Seahorses, and shout out to Steve for, I feel like you are the Buddha of wokeness, Steve. You've gone to the next level.
Yeah. Take that, you California liberals.
Fucking
I got you now. They didn't even know. They were busy saving the fish, and the fish who totally neglect the seahorses, and they totally don't give a fuck about the seahorses who identify themselves as Frank Thomas.
Steve's got you now. You on candid camera now, bitch.
I woke y'all.
Steve just got so woke, he left. He just left.
Mic drop.
Fuck it. Fuck it.
I didn't like how the fan was like fluttering my green screen. And while I'm talking about the seahorses who identify themselves as Frank Thomas. Don't
fucking fuck the image up, Steve, because now I'm getting pissed. I'm feeling a little bit of anger about these seahorses and all the hatred. So let's just take a deep breath, Steve. Just take a deep breath.
Yes.
It's Vicky in Vegas with Rich Little and Dolly, Sammy, Neil, Liberace, and Michael.
This is one of the old songs, but done in a funky way.
Superstars of the Vegas stage. They look like them. Sound like them. Even move like them.
What you have to do is you have to grab that car.
Yeah. The Legends of Vegas on Vicky. Today at 3 on Channel 3.
So yeah, this time around, my friend, we are talking about all things May 12th in the 90s. Starting off with 1990, the famous Teddy Z has their series finale on CBS. And the famous Teddy Z is available on Plex, the same app that we use to watch Parker Lewis. And this stars John Cryer. They gave him a starring vehicle, a lead vehicle. He's the only recognizable person on the show. It lasted for one season. And it's basically him as an agent. The position just lands in his lap. It stars John Cryer as Theodore Teddy Zakalakis, a young man working in a Hollywood talent agency in order to avoid being stuck in his Greek-American family's bakery. When Hollywood star Harlan Kibo meets Teddy Z, he is so impressed by his honesty that he makes him his new agent. The humor is derived from Teddy's innocent approach to the business, contrasted with the snake-like behavior of his fellow agents. Yeah.
Teddy Z. I like John Cryer. To me, has always just been meh. But the famous Teddy Z, I had no idea, Steve.
Of course, because it was on CBS. It lasted for about 24 episodes, and that's probably about 20 episodes too long. But the pilot was actually nominated. They love the pilot so much, the people, the critics, what have you, that alone got one of the actors like a best supporting actor in a comedy series nomination, and the same thing with I think the pilot. I think the pilot itself was nominated. It's like that just shows you how dense those writers were back then, or whoever's a part of that shit.
That's wild. That just looks so very CBS, Steve. I gotta just say. I mean, John Cryer's in it. Seems like something my mom would love. So it tracks.
Yeah, you remember the guy Ducky from the fucking Molly Ringwald movies? Yeah.
He needs something. He's got to eat.
And it did have Josh Blake. You don't remember him, but he was in that last Home Improvement episode we covered, the Old College Try. He plays John Cryer's little brother in this. He was one of the smart aleck college kids that we like grouped up with Tim.
Hey, why don't you ditch your wife, Tim? I mean, fuck it. Hey, famous Teddy Z. Fucking, he's an innocent Hollywood fucking agent. Hey, gee, guys, is that cocaine? Huh.
Well, I don't know what I'm doing here.
I hope that's sugar on the table.
Yeah. That doesn't look like the sugar from my mom's bakery. Huh.
Hey, Teddy, you want this hooker to do some blow off your dick? Nah, I'm just going to go have an apple and some peanut butter, guys. See ya.
My mommy says I shouldn't let people touch me in my naughty spot.
Famous Teddy Z, this tonight at 8 on CBS.
Famous Teddy Z loses his virginity.
Oh, so warm.
Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen that quick. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, wah, wah.
I gotta go take a nap.
Oh, don't touch me. On that same day, 1990, Saturday Night Live is airing the episode with musical guest Julee Cruz and the Spanic Boys. Who the fuck are the Spanic Boys? And Andrew Dice Clay.
Oh, I mean, so much goes around this episode, Steve. We even, for an SNL episode, you'd be like, okay, just say the guest. But we got to precede this by saying, once he was announced, there was a lot of fucking protesting, Steve. It's very eerily similar to now. Like some shit you see happen now.
I think that happened with Elon Musk in last season.
I'm sure it happens a lot. Maybe it probably like when anybody, I don't know. But anyway, so multiple organizations protest SNL. Sinead O'Connor was supposed to be the music guest. She says, nah, I'm not coming. Nora Dunn, who's a castmate, says, nah, I'm not going. So like there's all this publicity, everybody knows about it. And what I love about this episode is, one, I fucking think Dice is funny. It's a fucking character. It's a character. It's not him. Maybe he's become that. He's like cemented into him now, but it is a character. And I thought it was hilarious how they acknowledge all of
they went meta.
Yeah, they literally, it was like they broke the fourth wall. They had a lot of like jokes about it. They joked on Nora not showing up. A couple of the other castmates made light of the protest. I mean, he was even fucking John at, I think they're in what I read about it. The people yelling at him in the monologue were like anti-gay protesters that they were just trying to like heckle him. And he's like, hey, fucking fruitcake. And he just, he didn't miss a fucking beat.
He said, what did he say? He's like, just because I don't want to take you out, pal, doesn't mean I don't find you cool or something like that.
Yeah. But I, say what you will about Dice. He's got a couple of albums that are fucking hilarious. He's funny. And when people do an impression of him, he's just a funny character. So this was cool. I thought it's not an episode you know about. I think it's been wiped. Can you watch it?
It's on Peacock. It's on Peacock, but like, that's why I gave you the full version, because with Peacock, a lot of the older episodes are condensed, and we needed to catch every skit in this Diceman episode because Diceman was essential to the culture in the 90s, man. He was very necessary. But yeah, they waste no time getting to the shits, man. They go totally meta, and they call attention to the fact that Nora Dunn, like you said, and Sinead O'Connor, they just, they opted out. And it's ironic that Sinead O'Connor, she would have a bigger controversy in the episode that she did show up, where she would get banned. At least Diceman didn't get banned.
Didn't he? Because I think he was banned after this.
He didn't get invited back, but there are only a select few people who are banned.
Seagal won, right?
Seagal, Sinead O'Connor, Rage Against the Machine, Cypress Hill.
Cypress Hill, what the fuck did they do?
Cypress Hill smoked a joint. DJ Muggs smoked a joint during their first performance. And then
fucking let them back. Come on.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's weed now. It was the 90s, but Martin Lawrence. But like Diceman, he didn't get banned. He just never got invited back because I guess he didn't have anything popping. But yeah, man,
sorry, I was just gonna say, like, this starts off like you said, they acknowledge it. You see like this, like a fake news head. There's a lot of like fake headlines throughout this episode that they use as jokes. But they cut to Dice on like a bridge, and they basically do like an It's a Wonderful Life parody with Dice, where he's like, God, I just wish I'd fucking never been born. And then John Lovitz shows up, and he's like showing him what the world would be like if Dice never existed, basically.
Yeah. And the person that would take his place would be Frank Zappa. And Dana Carvey's Frank Zappa is dead on Big Brother Bush. And John Lovitz said he gave a 70-minute rant on anti-censorship. I could see his I could watch that in person forever. And then they say that Sinead O'Connor actually did do the musical performance, and one of her amplifiers landed on Nora Dunn to a huge pop, because I guess the general audience from the outside looking in, they were kind of fed up, like, oh, just do the show, bitch. I mean, that's the feeling I got for her for her getting smashed, getting an applause. Like, did you catch that?
Yeah, well, I didn't. There was not a note I took, but I did, and I think like those cutaways to other castmates, I get that vibe too. Like everybody was just kind of like, he ain't gonna fucking take the show over. We're writing the fucking show. He's gonna do what we say. You
don't live with them.
Exactly. So do the show, and you're only in a couple of skits anyway. So whatever, it's her choice. And I think honestly, this probably had a hand in her not really being on I don't think she came back.
Well, we only had 2 episodes left. This is the second to last episode. So she was still on the cast. I believe she did some skits in the Candice Bergen, the following episode. But yeah, after that, she was canned.
Yeah. And the Dice is like, did anything else happen with when I wasn't born? And the devil's like, well, because you didn't exist, a lot of your fans graduated high school. So it's like they even got to like dig at him, he wasn't being like an asshole. I wonder, because you hear a lot of like castmates talk about episodes. I wonder if anyone has any, like if there's anything notable about this, or if it was just like, status quo episode for those people in the cast.
Because it seemed like he got along with everybody. Like sometimes you can tell there's tension. Like the actors don't want to be around this person, especially in the closing goodbyes and shit. And I didn't sense any of that, man. He's probably like one of the coolest dudes if you met him, like the actual man. Because as we know, it's a shtick.
I've heard a lot of people like, because I like comedy and I listen to a lot of comedy podcasts, but Jim Norton, like people like hang out with him, like a lot of people, like the guy who did special ed in Crank Anchors with the voice. I'm spacing that guy too. Like a lot of New York comics hung out with that guy, and they said, he's half what you see now. Like he does, like, but he's normal. But what he does like to do that I think is hilarious is he pulls like just pranks on people. He'll like be Dice, but he'll be like, hey, you fucking just go off on him in like a public place and embarrass him. And he just does it to fuck with people constantly. And he'll, like be like, hey, watch what I do with this fucking broad over here, and just go over and just like, do whatever he does. And it sounds like it'd be fun to hang out with him.
And he's got
probably
the whole
scary too, though.
He's got the whole get up with the leather jacket.
Oh yeah. And he's like constant, like all that, like Jim Norton's like, yeah, he took me to like buy a couch one time. And he was just like, he's like, hey, what do you think about this fucking couch? He's like, I don't fucking know, Dice. What the fuck, dude?
Hey, what are you doing today? You're coming with me to IKEA. I need some futons.
And one other funny thing that they say in this like opening sketch, like John Lovitz is the devil. If you can't tell from the photo behind Steve, you'll see it in the video. And he's like, oh yeah, one other thing. Since you weren't alive, Ford Fairlane, it was a hit. And he's like, who played at Ford Fairlane? And he's like, John Lovitz. And he's like, I want to live. That's the last straw. He wants to live, Steve.
He's the guy. That's the liar guy, right? Oh, yeah. he's got other characters too.
Oh man. But it's a funny skit. I love it.
And then we cut to the opening credits, and as you can see, Nora Dunn is still in the cast. I guess because of contractual obligations. And then we come in with the Diceman doing his opening monologue, and I can't tell if that's Andrew Dice Clay or Dangerous Danny Davis. You tell me. Dangerous Danny Davis was a wrestler back in the 80s, and his gimmick was he was a former referee turned like a heel referee turned wrestler. And so that was his whole get up. He wore like the referee white and black pinstripe deal. And that's pretty what close. It reminded me of looking at this damn monologue with the Diceman.
He only wore that jacket once before, Steve, and it was when he got banned from MTV. So it's got a lot of meaning to him, I guess. And
might be in the Smithsonian.
He's getting heckled. Like people in the crowd are like, go, they're chanting something. I don't remember what it was, but they're heckling him. He's doing crowd work. And he's like, people think Dice can't be clean. And he tries to do like a clean joke. And he's like, some mugger comes out of the alley. I'm waiting for fucking hours for some takeout. He's like, hey, give me your wallet. And I'm like, hey, is that how you ask for something? It's just like some shit like that. He's like, I can be fucking clean. And I forget the only other thing that I have noted is that I don't know if he was joking about this, but he said he was going to give all his pay to the homeless for the episode. I don't know.
No, it was for comic relief.
Oh, okay.
Because it was airing that same night. And obviously since he was hosting SNL, he couldn't do that. Because he was supposed to host comic relief as well, man. But yeah, that joke bombed. But like, it was funny to me when he like lit a cigarette because he knew he bombed. He was like, "Yeah, boom," or some shit. It was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, he takes that one on. And also, it's just like again, he's talking about cancel culture, and it's 1990. It's weird to hear that shit from back then. But I mean, he's kind of the first guy. He was people would protest his fucking shows, and he's a stand-up comic. This guy was doing fucking John Travolta impressions before he figured this out, before he figured the Dice shit out. So it must be wild. That must have been a wild experience. That's the pinnacle of comedy for a lot of people, to be there and have people being like, get the fuck off the stage. You wouldn't think that could even be possible.
Well, before we had Diceman, we had Andy Kaufman. He was canceled. They actually had an episode where they voted him off of SNL, to never show up on this show again.
Damn.
Yeah. And our first skit is the Diceman Employment Agency. Fucking hilarious. We start off with John Lovitz coming out of the room just looking like some fucking druggy roadie or something. He has no lines. This is the only purpose. He just comes out of the room like, okay.
Are you a law enforcement officer?
Yeah. Is that Jan Hooks? Yeah, she's like the receptionist. And then Kevin Nealon comes in. He's all dressed up like he's going for a job interview. And, it's the Diceman. He's being interviewed by the Diceman. And at one point, he's like, yeah, they're good. You're going to teach Shakespeare to cheerleaders. And he's like, oh, that really? That would be great. No, you stupid idiot. Shut up, stupid.
How does 10K a week sound to you? That sounds great. What's the job? Crack dealer. Okay.
We'll make an excellent crack dealer. It's like, you know what? I don't know if I'm fit for that. All right, $3,000 a week as a lookout.
I just don't know, Dice. I don't know.
How do you feel about violence? Would you be willing to hold a guy down while another guy punches him in the face?
I'll take the lookout. Look out for Claude. He's on the corner. Just tell him Dice sent you.
And then Victoria Jackson walks in, and he's like, you mind if I smoke? She's like, I prefer working in non-smoking environments. Well, you ain't got a job yet. It's fucking great.
And he eyes her up. He's like, I got the perfect job for you, lady like you. What is it? Hooker. Lady of the night. I don't know. And then out of nowhere, two guys just come in and rough Dice up. They just rough him up, Steve.
Also it's fucking hilarious. It's random. It's random as fuck. Mike Myers walks in with this big black dude, and the big black guy just fucking lays into Diceman, just blah, blah, as Mike Myers is holding him. And he's like, tell Claude, make sure you get Claude his money. And then there's just like an awkward silence. I live for those moments, Matt.
Yeah, and then Victoria Jackson's like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna go work at a clothing store or something. He's like, okay, you leave. The job's not gonna be here for you. And she's like, okay, I'll take the hooker job. And that's the Diceman Employment Agency philosophy, Steve.
Yeah. And they go meta again, and they do a mock TV guide, jeers and cheers rating. And there's like, what's next? Hitler or some shit, and then in comes Dana Carvey mixing in some of his characters with Hitler. That's so special. I'm gonna pump you up.
This would not happen today, Steve. This is a time capsule. This is why we needed to watch this.
Yes, this is a very touchy. You could not get away with that. I don't, even for comedic purposes.
No, dude.
Not on cable.
On a live NBC show? Hell no.
And up next, we have Cooking with the Anal Retentive Chef. And honestly, I at this point, it's run its course. I believe this is actually the last time they do this with Phil Hartman. Jan Hooks plays his mom. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing like it's a one-trick pony. Like once you've seen the first couple, you kind of know what to expect. They give a little trailer next week. Candace Bergen and the Notting Hill Billies, don't know who the hell they are. And then the Spanic boys play some forgettable music. They are basically last-minute replacements. They're a random band in Wisconsin, and they are the first, I believe, father and son rock band
Look, the one dude looked like Drew Carey. I was like, this fucking Drew Carey's out here shredding right now.
Yeah.
The Spanic boy. I thought they just like found some New York band in a bar, like, hey, we need you now, you know.
That might have been what it was. They just happened to be doing a little show at some hole in a wall and like, hey man, the bald chick ran out on us. And you know, Weekend Update comes up with Dennis Miller, babe. And nothing. Nope. Yeah, John Lovitz, he does Annoying Man, sitting next to an annoying man. But Spade kind of like, he's the highlight of the Weekend Update. His Michael J. Fox impression is impeccable. And he's not even on the cast yet.
Well, yeah, it was fun fact. This is actually his first appearance on SNL at all, as is Rob Schneider's. This is their first show ever to be on air at all. So fun fact.
Yeah. And people are probably thinking, who the hell is that?
Rob Schneider is a carrot in Carrot. I mean, David Spade, though, does a hell of a Michael J. Fox impersonation, though.
Mallory.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
I don't know, man.
That's pretty good, Steve. You're doing pretty good. But David Spade, he's serviceable. And they do some dice bit in this that I said it's funny, but I'm too high. I can't remember what they did in it.
Couldn't have been that funny.
Marijuana affects the memory.
I guess not. But the next bit is funny, Steve, and it's, Dad, what's sexy?
Well, yeah. It's Diceman and Mike Myers, and he's just looking so like, oh, I don't know. What is sex?
It's a very after-school special. It's an after-school special with Dice, basically. And Timmy he thinks sex is gross. It's dirty. Why do people like it, Dad? Dice. Daddy Dice.
God gave women a honeypot. And
did you notice how much they like whatever we were watching was not of a legal streaming service? No. But even on that, they bleeped some shit. I don't know what I think he said, cock, pussy. He said some words you're not supposed to say, Steve.
Well, that was the intent. They meant to block those words out, even in the live version, because it's Diceman, and they're playing with the fact that like he's doing this.
Oh, it was on purpose. I thought he pulled a Martin Lawrence where he's like, "Y'all women need to wash your ass." You know,
but they overused the blurring out. Like they could have done it to where he's saying the word, like when they blurred it out, they basically blocked out everything he said sometimes, man.
Nothing more beautiful, more wholesome, or more natural.
I feel like it, like back then it was like a cough button, and it was probably like it was like 10, you hit the button and it was like a certain amount of time. You couldn't just like put a word out, you know, it was like a 5-second shit or a 10-second thing or something. But it's funny. And Dice is just giving him the talk. I mean, I wish I got this talk. Just, you know, he really just lines it all up, Steve. Let's be honest. You might not like the way he says it, but what he's saying, I mean, this is gold. This is solid gold.
Is that what Scruffy does to my leg?
When a man and woman love each other, they want to show it. And they do that by strapping it on. Know what I mean, Steve?
Girls are nasty. I'll never want to touch them. Oh, you're going to get some pubes. You're going to get a boinga. And then, yeah. And then Martin Stokely, played by Phil Hartman of Planned Parenthood, he's talking about, his usage of words, man. He said, instead of that, you could use tallywhacker. Instead of honeypot, vertical smile. Or the silk igloo.
Vertical smile, Steve.
But
he does approve of Boinger. Yeah, I was gonna say he liked that. And just another epic, like they have another headline come in after that that's like, can you believe this? SNL's fucking let this monster on here. They just keep doing this, and that's why this feels like one of the last episodes. I get people like just protest more. But they were like fucking with this too. Like they were still like I don't know. It just seems more not dangerous is not the right word, but it just seems like they have more of an attitude. Like they still
Edgy.
have a little of that.
They have edge. Yeah.
And I like it.
The talk radio, it was a one-trick pony with Kevin Nealon. Yeah, he's basically like talking over the music, talking over his co-host and shit.
He's just like the mixtape guy. Remember when you would get a mixtape, sometimes you download a song and it'd just be like every 5 seconds, like, no shit, no shit. It's just that. I mean, that's all he's doing. I mean, he talks over a Carlin bit, but I just love Kevin Nealon, Steve. So flowers to him. You know,
Kevin Nealon is my shit.
That's ballsy to get on here. Like all he was doing was sitting there, like he's in front of a live studio audience, just like, we're here on the top of the hour, KLA, FAM 130. Just like you're not doing anything funny. It's just weird.
And we have another meta attempt with Jan Hooks having a protest. She says her protests are by giving lackluster performances. And they give a number. I kind of want to call it 1-800-528-1000 just to see if that, because that was the comic relief hotline, they said. And next, another funny skit is Cool Mite. It's Kevin Nealon, Dana Carvey, Rob Schneider, John Lovitz, and of course the Diceman as Cool Mite. And John Lovitz is getting a lot of like airplay. This is his second to the last episode ever on the cast, man. He's getting a lot of reps.
And this is essentially, you remember Little Elvis?
Yeah, maybe this is Rob Schneider's story, because Rob Schneider was Little Elvis. Yeah, exactly. So who knows? But it is a hilarious sketch. It's just a bunch of, Guidos, little fucking gabools hanging out on a fucking staircase with Cool Mite. John, I think his name's Johnny. Yeah, Cool Mite, he gets around.
I'm over here.
John Lovitz pours him some brew and he pours it on the ledge. He's like, "What are you doing over here? I'm getting soda bubbles. I'm getting suds over here."
At one point, a cop comes and he's like, "Hey, Johnny, we got word you stole a strawberry." He's like, "I don't know what the fuck you talking about, officer." And then the cop leaves. He's like, "We're going to get you someday. You better watch yourself." And as soon as the cop's out of earshot, he's like, "Anyway, and who wants a little bit of a snack?" Like,
it's so random.
It's so dumb, dude.
It is. And I love these episodes or these skits, man. He makes a pass at one of the chicks that goes by and she like slaps him. Yeah, the guys are just impressed. How does he do it?
Yeah, it's so Italian. And then at the end, like, I think that a dog was supposed to pull him out of, they were supposed to do something with the dog. That didn't work. He's just like, "It's not working over here."
So they just cut it. I think in the Peacock version, they show the right version. They show the dress rehearsal version, but the one that we saw, the live version, it's like the dog bites him the first time and takes him. They bring him back, and then there was a second time, and the dog just doesn't show up. What are you doing? The crazy dog doesn't even know how to bite me.
And then they kind of like in next week's episode, and we see Cool Mite in bed smoking a fucking butt with the chick that he hit on that slapped him.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, Cool Mite." And he's like, you gotta split because I gotta watch an episode of Kojak, okay? He makes that weird dice noise.
Oh my God. Like, this is followed by another funny skit, Ridiculous Bull. And oh my God, this shit's ridiculous. It's a remake of Raging Bull, and Diceman's playing Robert De Niro's part, and John Lovitz once again is in this. He's playing Joe Pesci's part. And man, it's a one-trick pony, but it's fucking hilarious.
It's funny, dude. It's just like if they didn't take it to where they took it, it would have been annoying. But like, like pick up the bed, Joey. Pick up the bed.
Harder.
Pick up the fridge, Joe. You're crazy. He killed this episode. Like I fuck the complaints, fuck the haters.
You're my brother, Joey. You know I love you, Joey.
I love you, Joey.
Break the plate over my head, Joey. Hit me with the plate. Now pick up the glass. You see, I'm still standing, Joey. Now pick up that bat, Joey. Harder. Oh, see, Joey, I'm still standing. I'm still here. Joey, you're my brother, right? You know I love you, right? Pick up the bowling ball, Joey. I'm not going to hit you with the bowling ball. Do it, man. I'll fucking kill you, Joey.
Okay, my head in, Joey. Okay, Joey, we could go to the baseball game now, Joey. And then he steps by a window. He's like, Joey, before we go, throw me out the window, Joey.
I'm not going to throw you out the window.
I'm your brother. Throw me out the window. I love you.
And then
10 out of 10, Steve.
Yes, I would, man. But minus the music. You know, the chick, I never heard about her. At least she's got credits, but they were all last minute. And then Kevin Nealon does his protest. He just says he refuses to appear in all but 3 skits. And then we go to the closing credits, man. Diceman, you are a fucking legend in the game. Cool Mike, he gets around. I get Mitty Green vibes from Diceman. Maybe that's where Mitty Green's was created. Maybe that's how he came to it.
He was like Dice Light. Poor Dice. I got a pill bottle full of res over here. Let's go sit in the bush and smoke some resi hits. God, dude, one time, Steve, I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is just a weird memory I have because you mentioned his name. Okay, remember that building? We're walking to the parking lot. And before you get to the parking lot, there was that building. Remember? Like that, there was the overflow lot. It wasn't like, remember we would walk, that's where we'd smoke, but like before you got to the lot itself, there was like a building on the right side.
I vaguely remember.
Whatever. But there was bushes there. And I remember one time I thought we were going to smoke weed. He tricked me. And then we just smoked res hits in the bushes of that building. And I was like, yeah, this is a low. This is something you need to remember and not return to. This is not good.
Well, you know, that was guilt. That's all that was, man. Because when you're the guy that always jumps into other people's weed circles and you never producing, it's like, man, you know, I got to get these guys back in somehow.
Yeah, but don't go, hey, let's go smoke. And I'm like, oh hell yeah, let's fucking go smoke. And then he's like, he pulled the resi hits out like it was like some shit. I was like, wait, is that some res? He's like, yeah, dude, resi hit, they get you higher than regular. It's fucking concentrated weed, dude. I was like, yeah. I can't argue with it, so let me get one of those hits, but
at least tell people up front, because people are expecting some buds, not suds.
It's like telling a chick you got like a fucking 12-inch dick, and then you just pop out like a little bang, like a little 2-inch bang or doinger or whatever Dice called it.
Boinga. Nice. You go the opposite. You tell them that you have less, so that when you pull it out, they're like, "Oh shit! I thought I was expecting a baby pee-pee."
I mean, I ain't no fucking like scumbag. Like I've been there. I've smoked resi hits in my life. I'm not talking
never above
like
that. Yeah.
I'm not. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, Steve. But in that moment, I was just a disappointing moment. Not only am I not smoking weed, but I'm smoking resi hits with a guy in a bush. And when I say in a bush, like we were fully in a bush. It's like I don't know why, but we were. So
like that Homer meme.
Yeah, but I mean, really, we were. We fucking disappeared, and all that came out was some resi smoke. Somebody probably thought fucking like some rubber was burning or some shit. I don't know. It's not my proudest moment, Steve, but you know, it is what it is.
Please like, share, subscribe for your best 5-minute cooking tips. 1992, the Black Crowes released their album, The Southern Harmony and Musical Companion. And the track that stands out on this one was Remedy. It's very bluesy. This is around the time Black Crowes, they're getting a lot of their albums like highly rated. The critics love their shit. It's a contrast to what was going on at the time. This wasn't hair metal and it wasn't grunge. It was like, it kind of reminded people of that bluesy Janis Joplin, like 60s, like rock and roll. But they were doing it in a more modern time. And The music itself, I enjoyed, man. It's very jam out, smoke a joint, smoke whatever you got, your apparatus, and just zone out, get some chores done.
Okay.
I feel like this is some John Goodman. Like he would love some Black Crowes.
John Goodman?
I mean, at least his character, Dan.
Is there a lot of harmonica in it, Steve? Or do we hear some harmonica, or is this the vibe?
It's not Blues Traveler. It's Blues Traveler without the harmonica.
Okay.
Chris Robinson. He is the vocalist, and he would eventually marry Kate Hudson. He's a lucky guy.
Congratulations.
He didn't taste it, that twat. And yeah, man, shout out to the Black Crowes. But on that same day, Spice One releases his debut album, Spice One. And I know you're gonna be like, man, Steve, who's Spice One? I've never heard of the Spice One. Well, Spice One is a West Coast rapper, very gangster. At the time, it was getting like a lot of praise, but it's very dated. It sounds like
this is not. I swear to you, Steve, and I know it. I don't have a good track record. Never have heard of this individual, and I apologize to Spice One right off the bat. Well, I'm sorry for my ignorance.
Yeah,
Spice One. What's the vibe of that? I mean, it looks a little, I don't know. Is it classic 90s gangster rap? What are we rocking?
It is. It's classic gangster rap, man. And one of the songs on the album, he does a lot of metaphors for alcohol. It's called I believe 187 proof. He's talking about Mr. Schnapps, Mr. Peppermint, talking about Jack and Juice. And I thought that was clever, especially this was 1992. It was like, oh yeah, he's using like alcohols and alcohol names and as people, and talking about how like they're no good to be around and shit. That's somewhat responsible, and how it's fucking up his life. But the releases on this are In My Neighborhood and Welcome to the Ghetto. And Welcome to the Ghetto is produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, from Minnesota, the Minnesota crew that worked with like Prince and
oh shit.
Who's the other guy from the Jay and Silent Bob movie?
Morris Day and the Time.
Morris Day, yeah. So they're part of that collective. But yeah, shout out to Spice One. It's somebody who probably didn't listen to Spice One or the Black Crowes when it came out in 1992. Robert Reed, the American actor, famous for being Mike Brady from the Brady Bunch.
And why is that, Steve? Why did he not listen to this album? Is he a racist?
Because he passed away, and he doesn't strike me as a Spice One fan.
Yeah, I don't think anybody in the Brady. Maybe Alice was rocking some Spice One.
Totally. Yeah, that was the mom, right?
No, Alice was the fucking maid, dude. She was fucking in a closet, fucking just smoke boxing that shit, listening to Spice One. I'm telling you, she had it.
I could see the mom getting down with some of that shit too, man.
Ooh, what is this? Greg.
Right. Well, Robert Reed. He was secretly a gay man. He was closeted, and he passed away. Initially, they said it was due to colon cancer. He was diagnosed with colon cancer. When he became ill, he allowed only his daughter Karen and actress Anna Haney, a close friend, to visit him. He came from the old school where people had a sense of decorum. He went the way he wanted to without publicity. Weeks before his death, Reed called Henderson and asked her to inform the rest of the Brady Bunch cast that he was terminally ill. And he was 59 when he passed.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, now I feel bad. He wasn't a racist, people. He was a nice guy that got colon cancer.
I think he did play a racist in Roots, though, but that's a character. Reed's death was initially attributed solely to cancer, but details from his death certificate were made public, revealing that Reed was HIV positive. It remains unknown how and when Reed contracted HIV because he kept his medical condition and private life a secret from the public until the day he died, telling only a few close friends. But yeah, man.
Can I say one thing about what I just heard that I wish wasn't true now? I wish celebrities, we didn't know shit about them. I miss that.
Yeah.
I didn't know shit about fucking Tom Cruise or fucking Harrison Ford, whoever. Sometimes it's cool to find out shit, and sometimes it's not. But I like this. I like that. He was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna I'm not telling people shit. Maybe it's because he was embarrassed because he was closeted, but I think he was just like old school. I like to believe that.
Oh, definitely, man. But as we know now, you see the signs. Look at that mustache.
Steve,
But not that picture.
Do not besmirch a mustache. I mean, I'm not even saying it's besmirching. I don't know. Shit, Steve.
I have a mustache. I got a John Waters mustache. People probably think I play in the fucking fruit. But look at the earrings with the mustache and the fucking curl. Yeah, like, yeah, dude, you're lighting the loafers, but it's okay.
I mean, the one on the left, he looks like Gerald Ford or some shit. That one on the right, he looks like he's about to go to an orgy.
Exactly. Or Studio 54.
What's that on the table? Hey, were you in the Brady Bunch? Yeah.
Down with the booger sugar? Do you get down? Booyah.
Hi, it's Rhonda, your USA Up All Night Cannibal Cutie, and welcome to tonight's show. And what a show! 2 great movies and loads of surprise guests. Ooga, ooga. Oh, I'm dressed like this for our first movie, which is aptly called Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death. But I'm just going to call it Cannibal Women because I don't want to say avocado jungle.
1993, the Wonder Years aired their series finale, Summer. It's a 2-parter. In Independence Day, and we're just going to cover Independence Day. We already did SNL. That's about an hour. So just a brief summary. The kids, they have summer jobs, and Winnie is going out to be a lifeguard at the swimming pool and do whole activities. Meanwhile, Arnold is left at the wood factory with his brother and dad, and he's like, you know what, this shit is whack. Dad, you're getting on my fucking nerves. I don't need you anymore. I'm gonna go be around my girl. And
fuck this job.
Yeah, fuck
Shove
this job. And so he finally links up with Winnie in the summer episode, and she is not really pleased to see him because she already had some planning, some whole plans for her summer. And she meets this guy named Eric, and we end this episode with Arnold catching Winnie kissing Eric, the King Eric, they call him.
Just some sexy, flexy fucking lifeguard. He's the head lifeguard, Steve. And I got to say, Winnie, I think thinking about my life may actually be the first crush that I had. If I'm on Crushgasm again, I think she was.
Winnie,
dude. Winnie's fucking fine, I think. I feel like she is, Steve. I'm sticking by it.
She was.
She has like this little, I don't know if she's white. I don't know what the deal is. She's just like got this weird, she's cute. Anywho, Kev's fucking, he left his job, Steve. He disowned his father basically, or just talk shit. He goes up to this fucking resort that she's working at. He gets the cold shoulder. He's working as a waiter. And then he sees her kissing this guy, and he fucking, I mean, this is his woman, Steve. This is all he's ever had. So not really great. I was like, what's going to happen here? Because I did watch both of these episodes. And like the first episode, I was like, damn, this dude literally left his home with $170, like, and just said, I'm just going to drive. Fuck it.
Yeah. Like, I think we were all naive like that at one point. Just like, you know what, Dad? I got $100. I don't need you guys.
What do you know? Fuck you, Dad. Fuck you. So, anywho, he's trying to figure it out, and he sees it. He doesn't nothing. He doesn't like confront it. He just goes back, and he's working as a waiter at this resort. And they have the waiters all living in like a shanty of some kind, and he's just sort of in this shanty with all these fucking the gross crew of the resort, just sort of in his feelings, Steve. He's not feeling great.
And I mean, he's just surrounded by these unfuckables, and you know, they're talking about random shit that nobody cares about. And he's just like, dude, shut the fuck up. Nobody cares about that shit.
And one guy's fucking cutting his he's cutting his nails right by his head, Steve. And I'm sorry, I just had to point that out. It's disgusting. That's a slap.
But they know why he's really ornery, because he caught King Eric kissing his girl. Yeah. And shortly after that, Kevin's dad shows up in the bunker, and all the guys clear house. And he only came to bring Kevin some extra underwear. His mom thought he might need some, and some of mom's cookies. Gotta have some of mom's cookies.
Yeah, you're waiting for the he's like, he's gonna apologize. I'm waiting for it. He thinks his dad's going to, and he's like, I only came up here, you know, just to give you this. And if you want to just fucking come back, I guess you can. I think you're making a mistake. So he's like, fuck you, Dad. Eat a dick. I'm gonna hang out in this shed. Okay.
With Jack Arnold, he's very old school too.
Yeah, he's of that, like our grandparents' age. He's just like this guy. He doesn't say I don't think he says I love you. You know, he's one of those dudes.
Exactly. And Kevin tells his dad he doesn't need him and that he's got it good in this dusty bunker full of musty dudes. He's like, my girlfriend, she's playing me to the side and cheating on me with all over the place with this lifeguard, but you know, I'm cool. I'm
going for a swim. So why don't you go home? I'm gonna thanks for the cookies and the undies, but I'm gonna go swim. So he shows up at the pool, and that's the thing. Like, if you can look at it from both sides, he just shows up at this place when he didn't know. So like, he's kind of being a creep a little bit. I mean, it's his girlfriend, but he's showing up unannounced. He's kind of trying to like be like, what are you doing, bitch? You know, he did it for that. You know, that's why he did it, Steve. So
he can be the snooping boyfriend.
Yeah, he wants to just make sure nobody's dicking down his chick. And I get it. She's hot and you're not. So you're insecure. And he goes to the pool and I mean, to swim, I guess, but Winnie's there. So she's like, oh, hey, it's like, you can't tell she doesn't want you here.
Yeah.
She's just always like, oh, hey, Kev. Yeah, this is great.
You can't really be hanging out in this area because like the staff says that people can't hang out in this area. But he actually confronts her and he's like, you know, yeah, I saw you kissing Eric. And so, but instead of feeling remorseful, Winnie just looks at this as like, motherfucker, you were spying on me? And then she pushes him into the pool. Like, just
also Eric calls her babe, like in front of the dude. He's like, hey babe, come over here. It's like, I'm the bad guy here.
Technically we're still together. What the like, I don't like Winnie in this episode.
She doesn't have a good look in a lot of this. Like we get to a good place eventually, but this is not, it's not great from both perspectives because he shouldn't be there. Go do your thing. But I've been a clingy dude. I've been an insecure guy with a hot chick, and I've been like, what's she doing right now? She's probably sucking some dick. You know, he's coming from that place, but also she's just like, oh, you're here. It's like, bitch, I came here to hang out. Now I'm hanging out with a shed with a bunch of guys. It smells like dried up fucking cum rags in this shed. No, yeah, this ain't cool.
I'm playing cards every night with the mariachi band. And by the way, that was another thing in the previous episode. He won house. He just swept the table against this band, this on set on the house in-house band. And so now after he got thrown into the pool, he's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna win more money. Money usually makes me happy. But this time they upped the ante, and I believe it's $50 buy-in. And I think they hustled him ultimately, man.
Yeah, first of all, because he won the first time, which is classic hustle mentality. You got to let the mark get one taste to get him in, and then you fucking do the heavy sell. So there's like 4 guys that are in a mariachi band. I just said that was so white. A mariachi band, fucking mariachis. But one of these, Steve, just a quick shout out, sidetracking Sally, is a Frasier alum who plays a mariachi celebrity named the Barracuda, who hits on Roz, gives her a rose, and is like, do you want to spend the night with the Barracuda? And he's like, that's his like signature move. So just a little
like every show we do, there's going to be a cameo from somebody who was on that show.
Probably, because that's what Frasier did so well, Steve. They found all these amazing actors and they put them in one show, and he's here. And his group of mariachis, I can't stop saying it like that. I don't like that.
Come to mariachis.
I think
the
you're
cheese
right.
Is delicious.
I think there was some hustling going on because all four of these dudes get like the best hand in poker, and you know, he gets took. They take his 170. They take his fucking car, Steve.
Yeah,
that's not cool.
He loses everything just short of his shirt off his back. And like these are grown men. He thinks he's got the real world figure out. Like, no, dude, there are snaky motherfuckers who will come out and get you. You're not ready for this. You're green.
That's what you got. That's why this is what happens when you get out of high school. Yeah. We did copious amounts of drugs. This guy went and fucking hung out at a resort, got taken by some fucking mariachis, and he gets fucking fired. I think he's out on his. Does he get fired out right now, or is it after this?
He doesn't get fired. He basically quits because after all of the fuckery, Kevin is with the shits now. He rushes into the cafeteria to Winnie and Eric's table. And as he starts addressing Winnie, Eric stands up like, hey. And so Kevin knocks him smooth the fuck out for not minding his own business.
Straight to the chop, Steve.
Yeah, I'll be leaving now, bitch. That is all. Bye.
Bye. And he fucking leaves. But he ain't got a car, Steve. He's got nothing. He's got his mama's cookies and a shit ton of underwear that his dad just brought him. But he goes out, he catches a fucking ride. He decides to fucking, thumb it down the road. He gets in the fucking car with these elderly people, but fucking shocker, Winnie's in the back seat. God damn it, you bitch.
Of all fucking people. And she gets fired because of Kevin.
And I get it, you can have a little bit of spice in your voice because of that. That sucks a little bit, but you were out there fucking sucking this guy's face and probably something else.
And we're still together, bitch.
Yeah. And now we're in this fucking car. And these old people are like, God damn it, Earl. These fucking people won't shut the fuck up.
Kevin would like some music, but that bitch Winnie Cooper would not care for any music. And they get to bickering to the point where the old couple was just like, you know what? Y'all both get the fuck out of here. And
bye. Get out.
And so now they got to hitch a ride, and they're still getting at each other. That bitch Winnie Cooper, she starts crying. She's like, I'm not a tramp. What about that girl last summer at the lake? Shut up, bitch. You're worse than transparent. You're a snake. And then the bitch throws his bag of clothes and his mom's cookies into the street. Like, bitch, my mama's cookies. Fuck the draws.
And he says, fuck it. Petty level to 1,000. I'm going to toss your shit out there. And of course, as soon as that happens, all their shit gets run over, Steve. And then it starts fucking raining. So, God damn it. I got to share let's do something. So they end up in a barn, Steve. But shit's so fucking shitty that they won't even be in the same stall together. They're in separate stalls.
That's random. I mean, when it rains, it pours, right? And since it's just them, nobody else, they have a come to Jesus moment or some kind of reality. And that bitch Winnie, she says that this had to happen. It's not like we're kids anymore. It's not like Peter Pan or something. Fucking bitch. And then it was
never gonna last forever, Kevin. And she's right. You probably aren't,
Yeah.
But you kissed a guy. I don't know what Kevin did at the lake. I don't know what he was probably sucking a titty at the lake. But so
it was some shit that she wasn't there for, but he told her.
Oh, see, little extra added level of information there, but they're sort of figuring it out, Steve. They're like, we're young. I guess this is it. But fucking Winnie, she can't figure it out, Steve. As soon as they come to that agreement, then she's like, I don't want it to end. So then they start making out in a rainy barn.
Yeah.
And Kev gets, but then I don't remember what, like the logic tree that leads to them being like, you know what, this is it. We're going to beat it. Like, I want this to last forever, but like, it's basically just them being like, let's never lose touch.
That's what it becomes.
He
has this poetic moment. When she smiled, I smiled. When she cried, I cried. everything he's done in some way had to do with her.
This dude loves this chick, Steve. And she eventually, so then we get like the John Hughes ending where it's like you get a little synopsis of what happened. They go back. It's July 4th. And this is the last July 4th that Kevin ever spent in this town, Steve. It's the last 4th of July. It was the last summer that they got to be kids. His ugly friend went to Harvard Law. Winnie went to Paris. His dad and him patched things up. His brother took over the fucking factory 2 years after this when his dad died, Steve.
Yeah, we don't know how, but we know he passes out 2 years later.
His mom's a bad bitch. She's a business bitch, apparently.
Board of trustees and whatnot. And the sister, Karen, she's pregnant.
Yeah, she's knocked up. There's a new one. There's a new, what are their last name?
Arnold. Karen Arnold.
And Kevin says that, Winnie went to Paris to go to art school, I believe. And she was gone for 8 years and they never lost touch. And when she came back, they met and she met his wife and his baby,
his 8-month-old. Yeah.
So Winnie, they never met, Steve. They never came together again, but they did maintain contact. So I got to be honest. And I was on an edible this morning when I watched this, but I teared up, Steve. It elicited a reaction, Yeah. Plus I felt that I had some of these moments, Steve, some of these misconnections,
Yeah, and some of the people that we saw in relationships in high school, we thought that they would get married. Oh, they're always together. And then they probably haven't talked to each other in like 10 years now.
Yeah.
Because we're just prisoners of the moment. Like we're experiencing this all at the same time.
This is the best it's ever. You know how many times I was like, I'm never gonna find anybody else. I can't do this anymore.
Probably don't even remember what's her tit's name now. And it's ironic that Paul in the show he goes to Harvard and studies law, but in reality, the actor studied at Yale in law. Yeah.
Well, I guess somebody was trying to fucking fake his way into Harvard, Steve. He wasn't a Harvard man. Not like us.
And he wasn't Marilyn Manson, people. Would y'all stop that shit?
Yeah, that lasted a long time too. And it made sense. I was like, okay, I guess. Paul's walking around with a mussy fucking and some fake tits. It's cool.
I live in boring ass Ohio. I need something to believe in to fucking make this life exciting. I'll subscribe to it for now.
I'll have a bag of that.
And he ends saying, one day you're in diapers, the next day you're gone. Man, not a lie detected. And he still looks back with wonder. That was the last. See what they did there.
I mean, I never understood why they called the show The Wonder Years, and boom, there you right. Last line of the show is those years of wonder, Steve. It is what it is.
Now, they never mentioned where this was actually set, but if you put the pieces together, it's somewhere in California, and like from that closing scene, it looks like the suburbs of Los Angeles. Maybe you see the hills and how the neighborhoods are. This wasn't planned to be the finale. It was another abrupt ending, and that's why they added the narrative.
So the voiceover was like, so they were like, we gotta fucking wrap this shit up.
Yeah. So Daniel Stern had to piece that together with his narration. Is like, oh well, this is it. We gotta make some sense of it.
God, that's so cool. He was the narrator, dude. That's so cool.
Oh, and another ironic thing, the guy from Christmas Story was in this episode, which is the inspiration for Wonder Years. Peter Billingsley.
Really?
Yeah.
Shout out to fucking Christmas Story too. I think one of, if not my favorite Christmas movie of all time. So that's cool. It has the same vibe,
Yeah.
Definitely. That's cool.
Now, in 1995, Crimson Tide premiered in theaters, starring Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman, and it's not streamed any fucking where.
I'm on a submarine. Wait, I thought Sean Connery was in those. That was Hunt
That's
for Red
Hunt for Red.
October.
Yeah.
Crimson Tide's a good fucking movie. There was a lot of submarine movies in the fucking 90s, Steve. What was that all about?
The Cold War wasn't over. Shit. A lot of red, you know.
Yeah. We're getting back to that. See, it's all coming back. Fucking get these guys back in Hunt for Red or Crimson Tide 2. They're still alive.
I think Hackman's retired from acting, man.
It's all right. He can do it. He can give him a pack of smokes and some fucking booze. He's good. He'll be fine.
I know it got like a bunch of like high ratings and good reviews when it came out. Like it was a big deal, man. I just never got around to seeing it.
I know I've seen this movie. But again, like I said, Crimson Tide and Hunt for Red October, and they all just sort of mesh together. And then there was like one with Kelsey Grammer that was a comedy called McHale's Navy, but it has the same scenes in it. At some point, they're going to sink. They're all sweating in a submarine that's underwater. That's the electricity's out, and they're trying to figure it out. And fucking Denzel's fucking killing it. I mean, this was the height of Denzel in the 90s. He was just in everything. They're like, hey, it's a movie about a submarine, Denzel. It's a movie about, I don't know, a cook, Denzel.
Sprinkle some Denzel on it. Now, that same day, The Englishman Who Went Up a Hill But Came Down a Mountain premiered in theaters, starring that motherfucking fucker, Hugh Grant. You're trolling at this point, Hugh Grant.
Oh, like, excuse me, this is Hugh Grant here. What, Steve? Excuse me. I don't appreciate that. I remember this name and being like, I'm not going to watch this movie. Like, I was young, obviously, but I'm not going to watch this specifically because of the name. Fuck you.
It's so bland. Just like I tell you, Matt, he is the Sandra Bullock with a penis. Maybe, I don't know. That's debatable. But yeah, he's that of that. When an English cartographer must tell a Welsh village that their mountain is only a hill, the offended community sets out to change that. You're trolling.
Stop it. Stop. Who wrote that? Who was like, somebody was sitting around one day and was like, oh, I gotta start writing. Photographer, Welsh, fucking stop it. I mean, it looks beautiful. Great. It looks like a great National Geographic film, but I don't want to see this. And I don't want to see fucking Hugh Grant like, oh, tally ho, hey, excuse me now, this is just a hill.
Your mountain's really a hill. Tally ho, cheerio now, ta-ta.
I'm walking up a hill.
And shout out to our British followers and listeners. We love y'all.
Tally ho.
We don't fuck with Hugh Grant though, sorry. On that same day, Gordy premiered in theaters because Babe wasn't enough. I never cared to watch this shit either. Just why? I guess it was.
I watched Babe like everybody, but I mean, once was enough. I get it. And I just don't like pigs. Sorry.
Apparently, Babe was winning fucking Academy Awards and shit.
It's because there's a very pro pig portion of Hollywood, Steve. You can see here. I mean, they just said that don't start talking shit. We don't need that we don't need the big pig fucking coming at us.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the screenshots, and it's like, man, how could you not be just piling into the theater?
Jesus Christ. Like, hey, Babe worked. Get a pig. I got 10K. We can do this. I'll do the voiceover.
I just picture a Hollywood executive in the 90s like, you know what? That Babe really took off. We need to do another pig movie. He's talking again, but this time he's cooler. He's cooler.
What if a pig ran a business? And then after, like, off the heels of this, they made Polly, a movie about then they went to parrots. And then, there was some baby stuff. It was just a lot, a lot of voiceover heavy movies. And, Babe, I'll accept it. I know there was a certain point in my life where I actually enjoyed it, but a lot of these animal movies, Steve, I don't know. I don't like it.
Dr.
Sir, I don't like it.
Another one.
Dr. Doolittle, that like Nutty Professor was, I think, where I checked out, Steve. Dr. Doolittle, I wasn't into that. And then I'm sure they made more of those.
And also on that same day in 95, As the World Turns broadcast its milestone 10,000th episode on CBS. I'm sure my great-grandmother was first front row for this
10,000 episodes. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Did you start as soon as TV started? Jesus Christ.
That's 5 days a week. They get breaks, I believe, though. I think they get a summer break like everybody else, but still, it's 5 days a week. It's not like the other sitcoms and shows where it's once a week. Shit, they put in work.
The writers are just like stressed the fuck out. Like, I don't know. The guy's alive again. We got to write tomorrow's show.
But May 12th, 1998, Lenny Kravitz releases the album 5, and it's Mr. Beautiful Tasting Pussy Man.
Beautiful tasting pussy. I mean, I think he would like you being called that, Steve. And I hope at some point we meet Lenny Kravitz and you call him that.
I mean, shit, if there's any person on this planet who's ever had some beautiful tasting pussy, they'll pause. That's probably not going to sound good. So let's stop there. But on this album 5, it has Fly Away. I wanna fly away.
Yeah.
Heard on dozens of Ford commercials at this point. And American Woman. I've heard about this one more so than the original, man.
He's a coxman. I know him more as a coxman at this point, but this was a good album, Steve. The videos were hot. He was just fucking out there. He was just shredding guitar and just licking some puss, just like you said. Beautiful tasting pussy, man.
The lyrics on Fly Away, I mean, I wish that I could fly to the sky so very high. That shit.
Let's not examine it too much, Steve. I mean, he's too busy porking chicks. He doesn't have time to think about lyrics.
Yeah, it's true. But
he probably is in a mirror strumming his dick like a guitar. And that's how he came up with it. Pre-fuck.
Thinking about beautiful taste and pussy. And on that same day, DMX makes his debut album, It's Dark and Hell is Hot. And this is my soundtrack for 98 summer. The world was chomping at the bits waiting for his debut album. He had already been on cameos with the Lox, with Lil Kim, with Redman, Method Man, LL Cool J, and it's like he was a breath of fresh air, man. Like we were just at that jiggy stage. There was a lot of No Limit, gaudy, bowdy ass fucking album covers, and this dude just from New York. I'm from Yonkers. I mean, just barking. It's just like we never seen that before.
And the beats were fucking fire too, Steve. Like it was perfect. It was, and honestly, this dude, it's crazy how big he got. Cause like now it's so far gone past it. You sort of just remember like the end of it and it wasn't as good, but this dude was at the top of the world for good reason.
Later this year in 98, he would release his second album. And he's the only rapper to have 2 platinum albums, 2 #1 albums in the same year, man. What a start. Like,
I mean, I listened to the Rough Riders anthem today, so it's just the guy was. I had this album. Everybody had this poster. He was like a pop. He eclipsed rap for a while.
He did, man. And I mean, the fact that he had a slot on Woodstock 99, that shows his mainstream appeal, man. Even the album cuts, Damien, there's the one that I sang in the intro, 1 2 X is coming for you, get at me, dog. Y'all want to be killers, get at me, dog. Y'all niggas want to be killers, get at me, dog. That shit, just a young Swiss Beats. It's got Lox features. It's got one of the best Mace verses I've heard ever. And like the songs where they have those R&B, they're kind of like, I have to put this out for the honeys. I gotta have one of those songs.
Yeah, you gotta have a club banger, like just a one of those type of things.
And even that one, what type of games are being played? How's it going down? Is you with me your word? They gonna try to give me your nut just because honeys want to give me the bud. What? That I love that song because it's very jazzy. It's smooth. It's easy listening. And the same year he was in Belly. So X was killing it in 98, man.
God damn. And a plus, like, for a lot of rap, it can like mesh together in your head, but to have a voice like his and like just the way he rapped and shit, there was nothing else that you could listen to like it. So I'm a huge DMX fan, Steve. I might not know all the references and shit, but we've definitely rocked this in Bromfield. Everybody in our circles in Ohio had this album, and shout out DMX. I wish the motherfucker was still around because he's entertaining. Not only is he a good rapper, the dude's he's entertaining. He's funny. He's a good actor. He's a personality, or was, sadly.
Once in a lifetime, and he was the closest thing to Pac that's not Pac. Bankhead Bounce for DMX.
I mean, fucking Swiss Beats though. What was that one album? Like, he had many albums that went off, but there was one in college that just like I had it and I can't remember.
Is it
I mean, it was like hits on the shit too. I just can't remember.
Get It On the Floor.
Yeah,
that was later.
Yeah.
Was it that one?
I'm remembering that. I remember that song. I think it's from that, but I don't know. Shout out DMX. Everybody go listen to some fucking DMX right now. Ow, ow, ow.
The Great Depression. They don't know who we be.
Yep.
They don't know. Did it.
Jordan had one that I remember we used to listen to in the car. I can't remember what it is, but shout out DMX.
Now, on that same day, Escape releases their album, Traces of My Lipstick. And I only want to bring this up to talk about Candy. She is 1B of my celebrity crushes. There's Portia and there's Candy. And I'm
Which
sure
one's
she
Candy,
like
Steve? Where are we at here?
Candy is the one actually just to the right of me, looking so delicious.
With the hat?
No, the other side.
Oh, okay. Oh, damn. With that,
yeah.
With the titties, Steve.
With
I never even knew about this. I would have been fucking jacking off to the album.
Dude, still, like, I want to say she's knocking on the door of 50. Still fine.
Dude, I watched the episode, and I mean, I'm not sure how it stacks up now, but like, and I think we talked about it on the show, the Martin episode where they do the players ball, and Pam Grier's like one of the hosts. Pam Grier is one of the hosts. She's looking insanely fine in whatever 90 whatever it is, and Pam and Gina are dressed up like Foxy Brown type characters, and it is. If I could have been in a four-way at any point in time, in that room, that's it right there. Just
I'm cool with just smelling the room.
Pussy.
Yeah,
please.
Yeah, they ain't gotta fuck me. I just can I smell the room after y'all done? That'll get me to where
that feels like a gun pressed up on my dick.
You motherfucking right, it is. Now, any callbacks, takeaways, or reach arounds, my sir?
Dude, I just want to shout out, like, I didn't hear about this dice. We don't really have like, I never heard about this Dice episode, and it made me want to go back and just listen to Andrew Dice Clay more. So shout out to Dice. People listen to him. I don't know what the fuck the dude's doing now, but he cracks me the fuck up. So shout out to Dice. What about you?
Well, he was in that Lady Gaga movie with Bradley Cooper. He played Lady Gaga's mom, and that he got some acclaim for that.
It's a stupid movie. I'm sorry, Dice.
I didn't care for it.
But Ford Fairlane, for a time and place, it's a good watch, Steve. Wayne Newton's the villain. I mean, it's a good like USA Up All Night movie, you know?
Well, dude, after watching this episode, I was looking for Ford Fairlane. Like,
you can't find it?
I can't find it, man. I'll look on my sneaky links, but okay. It's got to be somewhere on the internet in these streets, man. But I'm like, we're both fans. You probably are a bigger fan of Diceman. But yeah, man, 1990 on May 12th in living color, they're doing season 1, episode 5, The Three Champs and a Baby. And I believe this is the first time they're doing it. David Allen Greer has this funny part where the baby is delivered at the door and they think it's pizza. He's like, did they make it with pepperoni? Because he's the comedic timing, and he's playing Muhammad Ali. Tommy Davidson is playing Sugar Ray Leonard, and Keenan is Mike Tyson.
I remember this skit.
Yeah, me too, man. In 91, they're doing season 2, and Homie the Clown. This is a two-parter. He basically sells out. The man gives him $1 million for a cereal deal, and they sell Homie Wheats. And he's doing these cheesy commercials. The kids are actually hitting him over the head with the sock. And he's eating at Shea Whitey's, and Tommy Davidson catches him outside of Shea Whitey's, and he's like, "You're not Homie the Clown, you're Homie the Man." And then it's a to be continued. And then there's another to be continued in this episode where Men on Television, Blaine, played by Damon Wayans, gets hit over the head, and he changes his identity. And he becomes a straight man. And David Allen Greer is kind of like, well, Blaine, what's going on? I'm like, man, don't touch me, man. And, you know, he's talking about, they're talking about Married with Children. And David Allen Greer is like, hey, they're like, no, I love that shit. That blonde girl with the nice tata, this shit, you tripping. So like, that's like 2 Damon Wayans to be continued in one episode.
I love that. Blaine, what's wrong? Get off me, man.
Get your hands off me, motherfucker. And in 1992, Full House, it's a Beach Boys episode. It's a 2-parter. Uncle Jesse gets fired from Ranger Rick or Ranger, however the fuck that guy's name is. And it's Captain Video parts 1 and 2. And one more thing, 99, the movie Trippin' came out. It stars Dion Richmond from Cosby fame, and he would later be in Sister Sister. And I remember it being like a hood classic, funny USA kind of movie. Nowhere to be found, not streaming, but like it was fucking hilarious, man. There's clips on YouTube, but yeah, that came out in 99. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please watch Over the Culture, Crushgasm, B3F Podcast with Joey. No more Steven. That's another thing. And Don't Worry, Be Movies with Amanda and Wade. This is Steve G and Matt G with Happened in the 90s.
Bye, 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 bye. Bitch.
Boinga.